Then the remaining will be added. Will be invested, will be added back to the net worth. Will not grow.
And the shareholder, they will lose interest.
And the shareholder will lose interest because they will not be able to pay dividend.
They will not be able to pay salaries.
They will not be able to pay salary to Victoria. So Victoria
the company may end up holding off.
More powder, more. Yes. So, or Brazilian wig. So, company must be able to make profits. Then efficiency is just to see how efficient the management is to convert their stock to cash, also to collect their debt on time. You are going to see those ratios. The liquidity is to measure their ability to pay to meet their short-term obligation. The leverage is the financing structure. Who finance more? Is it the owner of the business or outsider? So let's now look at the ratios. So for the profitability, the first ratio to look at is the sales growth. And the formula is the current year sales minus previous year sales all over previous year sales. So this measures the nominal growth in the year-on-year sales. Why do you think sales growth affect the profit of the business? Anybody?
I said.
Why do you think sales are under profitability ratio? Yes. Timothy Iwe.
Okay. Is it not when we talk about the rate of turnover, how much the company is ready to go back to the market to repurchase, to replace? Who uses 1 naira to profit 1 naira, and they are able to go to the market to restock for 7-8 times? You can see that the profit ratio will volume of sales in which they make. I don't know if it's correct.
I can't get you, Mr. Joseph. Why do you think sales growth is to be considered under profitability? It's just a simple thing. What is it?
The
sales is proportionate to the growth.
Profit.
The more they sell,
proportional to the profit.
The more the growth, the more profit the company.
Exactly. So if you don't record sales, you will not make profit. So we have two types of sales growth. We have the one we call nominal sales growth and the real sales growth. Victoria, what is it? So the nominal sales growth is just current year sales minus previous year sales. For example, if the company had sales of 100 million in year 2023, then year 2024, it has recorded sales of 200 million. So the formula is that 200 minus 100 all over 100. That will determine the sales growth. And that is also a function of. Then we have the real sales growth. The real sales growth said we should adjust the current year sales by the rate of inflation in the current year. Because sales is quantity times price. So the quantity may not increase. It may be as a result of inflation that the customer increase the selling price. So the real sales growth now says factor in the rate of inflation. So you have to consider the rate of inflation and use it as a discount rate to reduce. For example, if the sales in 2023 was 400 million, and the sales in the year 2024 is 600 million, and the rate of inflation in the year 2024 is 20%. So you have to use discount rates of 1 plus the rate of inflation. So that means the 600 million that was recorded in year 2024, you will now discount it by all over 1.2. So if you divide 600 million by 1.2, you will now get 500 million. So that is the real sales growth, because the customer has increased the selling price by the rate of inflation, not that the quantity has increased. So it's now from that 400 million, you are going to remove 400 million, all over 400 million, to know the actual sales growth. So these are the two formula you need to consider under the sales growth. Other profitability ratio, we have gross profit margin. And please take note of all these formula. Financial statements and ask you to calculate, or they will calculate and give you some answers and say you should take the correct one. So for the gross profit margin, we have gross profit all over sales times 100. For the operating profit margin, another name for operating profit margin is EBIT, earning before interest and tax. So it's a profit after tax all over sales times 100. Then we now have return on assets. So which means that we want to see whether the asset the company has is recording group profit. It's also profit after tax all over total assets. Then return on sales. We want to see whether that one should be sales, so not total asset. That's a mistake there. Profit after tax all over assets. Sorry, let me correct that. Is revenue or sales. So you want to know whether the sales is making profit or not. Are we together? So it's profit after tax all over sales. You want to see whether the company is recording profit to sales. If they are selling at a loss, that ratio will be too low. Then we also have return on equity. We want to see whether the equity provider, they are getting good returns on their money. Otherwise, they will lose confidence in that company. So you have to really look at return on equity, amount of profit earned by each naira the shareholders fund invested in the business. So we must look at that. Then asset turnover, it says all over total assets. We want to see how efficiently the company is using its assets to generate sales, and its times. For example, if asset of 100 million is used to generate sales of 400 million, so sales is 400 million. So with an asset of 100 million, the company has generated sales of 400 million. That's 4 times. So whenever you hear turnover, is times. So sales all over total assets. Assuming the sales is 400 million, total asset is 100 million, that means the company has generated asset turnover 4 times. Then this inventory means that how many days will it take the company to convert their stock to cash, which will now enhance their working capital. That's why another name, hello, ADBC, any query? Another name for management efficiency is, we call it turnover, working capital ratios. Working capital ratios, because all those ratios under management efficiency will influence the working capital of that business. For example, if you collect your debt on time, or okay, like inventory, if you sell your stock on time, it will give you money. It will affect your working capital. So number of days it takes you to convert your stock to cash is a way to manage, to measure the management efficiency, and it's also a way to enhance your working capital. So working management efficiency ratios, we are asking the same question. Like in our exam, somebody can ask you, calculate management efficiency ratio. Another time they say calculate working capital ratios. Another time they say calculate efficiency ratios. It's the same thing. Because if you, all those ratios under this, if you manage them very well, it will enhance your working capital. And it also shows whether the management is active enough to convert their stock to cash. And also the receivable means how many days it will take them to collect their money from their debtors. So if they calculate, if they collect it on time, if they are proactive enough, if they are assertive enough, if they are pragmatic enough, they will be able to collect their debt on time, which will enhance their working capital, and it's also so that the management, they are active. So day receivable means trade debtors all over sales, that's 365 days. So there are a number of days. How many months or how many days will it take them to calculate their debt? For example, 2023, it takes them 50 days to collect their debt from their debtors. Then 2024, it has increased to 100 days. That means the management is no more efficient, and that's a problem somewhere. Then the third one is the payable days. How many days will it take them to pay their suppliers? Like the spontaneous finance that I mentioned. So the more days they have, better for the company. If they delay payment to their supplier, it will enhance their liquidity and cash flow, and also the working capital. So the more the better. So the formula for that is trade creditors all over cost of goods sold. Please mind the base, the one that are going to be under. For the asset turnover, total assets, for the daily inventory is the sales, stock all over sales. For the days payable is trade creditors all over cost of goods sold. Then for receivables is sales also. So then net operating cycle, by the time you now put the days inventory plus days receivables minus day payable business, that's the number of days to take them to pay their loan back. Then liquidity ratios. We talk about liquidity, ability to meet the short-term obligation. We have two ratios there. Current assets all over current liability. And the ideal ratio is ratio 2:1. That means for every 1 naira the company is owing, they have 2 naira to meet it. That means they are liquid. They can meet their short-term obligation as a when due. Then quick ratios. That's current asset minus stock and prepayment. And the ideal ratio is ratio 1:1. Then the question for the class is that why do we need to remove the stock? Why do you think we should remove the stock? Anybody? Our time is fast spent. Why do you think we should remove stock? Malam Ahmad, why do you think we should remove stock? Let's talk. Oh, let's talk. Okay, we remove stock because the stock may not be moving. or obsolete, and we still want to see whether the company can honor its obligation. So we remove stock and see whether the remaining current assets will be enough to pay the current liabilities. So it shows how liquid the company is, but the ideal ratio is 1-to-1. That means for every 1 naira the company is owing, they have 1 naira to meet it without selling their stock, because it may be difficult to convert the stock to cash. Either the stock is not moving, it becomes stale, expire, obsolete. So, and they will still want to meet their short-term obligation. So want to see the extent at which they can meet their short-term obligation without selling stock. So leverage, talk about financing structure. Who finance more? And we have some ratios there too. Debt to equity, we want to see which one is more. Is it debt? Is it equity? Then debt to total assets, talk about who contribute to the total asset of the business. Is it the outsider or insider? So the formula for that is debt to total assets. Measure the percentage of total asset finance with the total debt. So what is the contribution of total, that's creditors, to the asset of the business? And the other one is interest coverage. So interest coverage is any before interest and tax, EBIT all over interest expense. What we are saying here is that, can they pay interest expense to people that have given us debt or money? So the formula is any before interest and tax, EBIT all over interest expense, and it's also 4 times. Assuming you have 400 million and the interest expense you want to meet is just 100 million. That means you can pay the interest expense 4 times. So what you are telling the people that are giving you money is that, my friend, don't disturb me, go and sleep. We can pay your interest 4 times. So anytime you have interest coverage ratio, is in times. It's not in percentage, it's not in ratio, but times. So assuming the earning before interest and tax is 400 million, and the interest you want to pay at the end of the year is just 100, that means you can pay the interest expense 4 times. So at times, the financial statement of our customer may not be reliable. So what do we do? Because MSME do not maintain reliable financial statements, the lender must perform the following: probe into the borrower business sales record during the visit, conduct a margin analysis based on your estimated profits, ensure the profit margin is enough to cover interest. So you have to visit the customer, you have to carry out some due diligence, like one of you said. Look for the sales record, conduct margin analysis, and also ensure the profit margin is enough. When financial statements are reliable, so one of the effective ways is to understand the business of the most SMEs, operating cycle of the business, ascertain any working investment, fixed asset requirements of the business, how the above factors fluctuate under different business operation activities. What is operating cycle? Every business has its own operating cycle, from cash back to cash. Along the line, there will be a problem. Just like the diagram we have now, how long will it take the cash to move from cash back to cash? At every point in time, there will be problems, either from cash, from raw material. How many days will it take the company to bring in the raw material? From raw material to work in progress to finished good. At every stage, there may be a problem. From at purchase of raw material, the raw material may not come on time. What we are saying here is that, what are those things that can stagnate the cycle to complete on time? At raw material, the raw material may not come on time. Either where they are sourcing the raw material is far, or they are going to import. Or we also talk of the quality of the raw material as well. So raw material can stagnate the cycles and tie down the money of that company. Then work in progress means that you have produced, but you have not finished your product, the production. And it's the most dangerous stage in business cycle. You can sell the raw material. If I'm into production of this bottled water, I can sell the bottle to another company selling the same producing the same water. But nobody will buy this bottle, water with that cork, with that label from me. That's why work in progress is the most dangerous stage in production. So at that time, machine may break down or something may happen, which is going to stagnate the cycle. Then finished goods also, people may not buy. From there, you now move to debtor. Debtor will buy and not pay on time. So asset comparison cycle need to be considered by the lender to know how many days will it take the company to complete the cycle. For example, if it take the company 10 days to bring down the raw material, another 10 days to convert the raw material to finished good, that's 20 already. Another 10 days from work in progress to finished good, that's 10, 10, 10, that's 30. Another 10 days to collect your debt from debtors, that is 40 days already. So if that customer says, "Oga, give me this money, I will pay within 20 days," it's not realistic because the cycle will not complete within the next 40 days. That's the beauty of assessing the operating cycle of any business. Every business has its own operating cycle. So you have to consider that when you are looking at the financing structure. Then we also have what we call capital investment cycle. If it's to buy fixed assets, you have to look at capital investment cycle. Capital investment cycle has series of operating cycle, maybe 4 years, because you cannot pay back the loan you used to buy equipment within a year. That one can take 4 years. So it has a longer cycle than the operating cycle. Operating cycle may be for only 90 days or a year for trading or for sourcing raw material or finished good. But when it comes to sourcing of fixed assets, we call it capital investment cycle. So, and that one will take more than a year to service. So all these things are very important when you are analyzing credit for MSMEs. So what are the risk management? What are the risks in small businesses? So small business face a lot of risks that we have mentioned before. So it calls for proper planning and adjustment in the operation activities. So also you have to know the core risk, like a level of fixed assets, fixed overhead. We have some businesses that are prone to fixed overhead, fixed costs, like eateries, like food, like some other business that the overhead is more than the variable cost. For example, if you run a restaurant, you have to make sure that the AC is working, like all these eateries. The AC is working. If Chief Timothy Iwe goes to the lack of eateries to eat or to wait for his girlfriend or woman friend or whatever, he can buy maybe one bottle of Coke and sit down for 2 hours. He will be taking the Coke small, small. So if they cannot drive him out, he will go to the toilet, flush the water, sit down again. And he will be taking the bottle of Coke for 2 or 3 hours. He will be enjoying the AC. All these things, they are fixed costs. So some businesses, they are prone to fixed costs than the variable costs. So you have to identify what type of cost are they incurring. Are they prone to fixed costs? Many businesses in Nigeria, whether you sell or not, you are going to meet fixed costs, payment of rent, payment of salaries. These are the fixed costs. Whether you produce, whether you sell, you need to pay rent, you need to pay salary. Then there's some other fixed costs that your water must be running, your AC must be effective. Even if you don't have anybody to patronize you. Even you bankers also, you have fixed costs. Even if you have only one customer in your banking hall, your AC must be working. When I was a brand manager in those days, some customer will enter our office. So, "Oga, I just want to enjoy your AC." They may not have money with me, but they will come inside. They say, "Oga, we want to enjoy your AC. Just allow me to enjoy your AC for 1 hour." They will sit down doing nothing, and the AC will be running. So these are the fixed costs I'm talking about. So the business is prone to fixed costs than the variable cost. Variable cost is in consonant with your operational activities. If you don't produce, you don't buy raw material. So you have to consider the level of fixed cost and the variable overhead. The fund diversion risk, the money can be diverted. The service quality, what type of service is the customer producing? Is it okay? Insurable and non-insurable risk, you also need to look at that. So what are the risk management, particularly for the small business? So you have to really look at the risk involved and how you can control it. There are some risks that is not controllable, but you can only manage them, like external risks that we have mentioned. Theft, fire, flood, legal liability, injury, disability can destroy in a few minutes what may have taken a small business year to build. In business risk, look at every turn. Competitors threaten the viability of your existing products, so your marketplace, adverse trend, and so on and so forth. These are the business, and you should know how to manage them. Then we also have macro industry risk. You know, businesses is surrounded by the factory, the industry. The industry is an external risk because whatever is happening in that industry will also affect the business. No matter how good the business is, it is still prone to problem in that particular industry, like the example I've mentioned, cost of production. So the business is the whipping boy. Then the industry can also be affected by micro, what is happening in Nigeria, like a rate of inflation, high cost of doing business will affect the industry at which the business belong, and also be affected by what is happening in the nation. Another one is global, which we didn't draw that, but globally, the global phenomenon can also affect the business in Nigeria. The Ukraine war has affected the cost of wheat. That's why we are now buying bread at 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira. I was telling the class I handled today that in those days we can buy a car for 3,000 naira. Now we are buying bread at 3,000 naira. The cost of buying a car in those days. So it's because of global phenomenon. Then the Israel and another war now is causing a lot of problem already. Then look at what Trump is saying about tariff in US. It has started affecting some businesses in Nigeria. So global phenomenon can also affect the micro can affect the industry will now affect the business. So when you are analyzing your credit, you must know what is happening in the industry, you must know what is happening in the micro, that's national. And globally also at global level. You remember coronavirus didn't start in Nigeria, but it later affected us. So whatever is happening at the foreign window will also affect us in Nigeria. More so, the whole world is now becoming a global village. So as lender, you need to consider the risk at global level, the risk at macro level, the risk at industry level, and also the business itself. has its own peculiar risk. So when you want to analyze, you need to study all those risks together. So what is financial management, ladies and gentlemen? We are going to actually to the end of the course. In order to minimize risk, SME need effective financial management, which is the process of planning, organizing, and controlling available funds to achieve the goal of maximizing the wealth of the business. So, component of financial management, there must be effective utilization of funds. The company must have financial budget, putting in place savings and investment plan, effective risk management. Cash flow must also be managed so that it will not fly away. And plowing back into the business will also assist that company to grow. So this is the end. Do you have any questions, reactions? Any question for me? Otherwise, I have some questions you need to look at. I've put 10 questions there to help you, but do you have any questions? Any questions that, or anything that is not clear? Joseph Anyanwu, what is the question?
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, sir. Okay, can I proceed?
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate the whole lecture from beginning to now, and I want to say thank you, sir, for having this time with us.
Thank you.
In so my question is that now, from the analysis we have already diverged in fullness, these fintech companies, what is the risk? Because when I look at the rate in which they give loan to anybody, I see that it helps those small and medium enterprises to grow, in which the traditional banks or traditional financial institutions are not that liberal like they. And let me say, for example, I happen to have utilized this easy money point to finance the services I do, and getting finance from them becomes so fast for me, and repaying was never an issue. And I have tried to make the same accessing the same financial services from micro SMEs, that's the microfinance bank. They asked me this. I provided every necessary document, but to date, they are still futuristic in terms of processing. And with time, I have done 2-3 transactions through this fintech. What is how? And I'm asking, are they no more vulnerable to risk by those who, because I do SIMS registration, and I've had experience whereby 3 customers who bought SIM, because these telecoms recycle lines that have been abandoned for over time. I don't know if you have experienced your phone being misplaced and you went for SIM swap and something like that. Maybe some person couldn't go back to do SIM swap, and the telecom will recycle this line. And when they recycle it, it does not become a new user, meaning they have deleted the previous person's information. But that number remains valid when we reissue the line by registering it as a new person. And I've had this encounter that this is a child that want to register for JAMB, and the financial institution whom the person borrowed the money before and abandoned the line. Once the line became active now, they begin to call her, begin to text her, So I was more of, now this fintech, are they not vulnerable to this and other transactions? How do they now manage this risk?
Okay. Thank God. Do you have fintech operator in the class? Because the question is for the class, not for me. Do you have anybody that can answer the question? Fintech, why they are aggressive, and are they getting it right? What is the secret? Or what are the secrets? Yes, anyone? Anybody?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yes, Ejoke.
Sir, if I should say something, I believe the fintech compared to the commercial banks and the microfinance banks, the commercial
Yes.
banks do. Then the observation my colleague just mentioned now, I believe that's why I I got a message that says registration of SIM for NCC had to put a hold on registration of SIM, swap, and retrieval for now, because they discover from the database of NIN there are some misrepresentation of individual identities with the SIM and the NIN. I believe that's why the fintech companies, they are having issues with
They have
somebody
what?
that borrowed money. The fintech now, what this my colleague mentioned now, having issue with the loan they give out. The loan somebody use SIM to collect, another person is now using the SIM. They are not trying to recover their fund from a wrong person. I would say a wrong person because it's actually not the person that collected the loan. So I believe the issue they have is they are not exercising due diligence in giving out these loans.
So they will now stop SIM swap because of that.
No, not SIM swap. What I mean, NCC had to put hold on registration of new SIM for now as a result of this identity.
Not SIM swap, yes.
Okay,
As a
registration of
result
new.
of this identity clashes in a
Okay.
SIM and NIN database. Because if you discover a SIM will have different identity, one SIM having 2 or 3 persons identity attached to it. So they are trying to
Yes, you are
sanitize.
right. Because at times you will see when you look at the true call, it will be a different name. Maybe the first person has lost the phone or SIM, they will now give it to another person. I quite agree with you. But to answer the question the gentleman asked, yes, they are aggressive. They have what we call API. Hello, they have API. What we call API is a application process interface, which give them additional comfort to know more about their customer. There's also something we call open bank. So because of that, they have access to information. They have access to information they use. That's why when somebody is owing, they will now they have the information on maybe on the club or the society or his friend on the phone. So they now send message to you that Mr. Joseph Anyahu is owing us 100 naira. Can you help us to collect?
Is not old.
I say 100 naira. I'm not saying 100 million. So why are you so fearful? 100 naira. So can you help us to collect the 100 naira? There was one they sent to me like that. I said, negotiate direct. I don't know this man from anywhere. So it's because they have all this information. Yes, Peter. Chief Peter Chuku. Peter, you raise up your hand. Unmute yourself and talk to the class. Well, I want you to go through these questions. So the fintech people, they also have their own problems also because they are very aggressive. Like we said, they are operational, something seamless, while the big banks or microfinance banks still dilly-dallying, they've already disbursed, but they know how to collect their money. So Aggressiveness is that, but not that they are not losing money too, but they have many customers. Let me shock you. OPay is having more customers than GT Bank now. OPay is having more money, is having more staff, more customers than even GT. So because of aggressiveness, because of app they are using, they are better placed. Not that they don't have their own challenges as well. They have, but they have so many customers to overcome that problems. Okay, and it's those of you that are still working in the bank, like I was telling the bank today, you also need to be more aggressive now because fintech, they are taking the market by surprise. They are converting your customers. So while you are still wasting time to book credit, fintech already credited the account of customers. So that's the latest thing that is happening in this country. Okay. Peter Chukwu raised up his hand, but he's not talking to us.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for the class. It was very, very simplified, not with so much bogus grammars. Okay, I was interested in when you were explaining current ratio and liquidity ratio. So you said that the appropriate ratio for acid test is 1:1.
1:1.
1:1. So I want to ask, what is the most appropriate ratio for liquid ratio, not acid test?
No, it's
ratio.
2:1. I mentioned it's 2:1.
Okay, it's 2:1.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
thank
for
you,
every
sir.
1 naira the company is owing, they have 2 naira to meet it.
Okay. So I also want to appreciate generally the platform we used in writing exam. There was much improvement in the last exam. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's quickly go through this question, or maybe the organizer will send the question to you, or this when you get the slide. Just look at the question. What are the classification of MSME in Nigeria? We have treated that today. What are the characteristics of SME borrower in Nigeria? Mention some challenges facing MSME ecosystem. Chief Aji Segiri, the MD of KDAM, wishes to expand his business. Mention some business loans available to the company. Ajisebi Oyo has interest expense and profit after interest of 4,000, 24,000. What is the company interest cover? Can somebody tell us the answer? Ajisebi Oyo has interest expense and profit after interest of 4,000 and 24,000 respectively. What is the company interest cover?
Six. Please, sir, the question again. Sorry, sir.
Can't you see the slide? Ajisebi Oyo venture has interest expense and profit after interest of 4,000 and 24,000 respectively. That means the interest expense 4,000. Then the interest and the profit is after interest is 24. What is the company interest cover?
6.
24,000 over.
How do you get 6?
6,000 naira. 24 divided by 4. It is 8,000, sorry.
No, it's in times.
What is the correct answer?
Number of times.
It's times.
Okay, okay, 8 times. 8 times. 8 times.
How do you get 8 times?
24,000.
24,000 over 4.
Yes.
Is that 8?
Oh my God. It's 6. It's 6.
Another person?
Don't have calculator.
You are wrong, madam.
Okay, sir.
It's 7. We said it's any before interest and tax. Now we are giving you profit after interest. So you have to add back that 4 to 24.
Okay.
All over 4.
Okay. Okay.
That's 7 times.
Okay.
Yes, the short-term lending to finance inventory with repayment coming from the sales stock is called, what is it? Peter Chuku, please put down your hand, though it will be paining you.
I've done that.
Okay. Yes, what is the answer to number 4? It's called commodity finance. The structure of Islamic banking, in which the partner share both the profit and loss, we mentioned it today. The market for SMEs to raise additional capital in form of equity, that's second tier market. Financial statement ratio may be undertaken to appraise profitability leverage of Egweja Nigeria. To which does total debt ratio most relate? What's the answer? Total debt. Is it efficiency, liquidity, profitability, or leverage? Yes, please.
Leverage.
Leverage. Sorry, just a moment. The room service people, they are looking for me. Just one moment, please.
Okay.
Though we are almost done.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, look at okay, so it's leverage, Abi, that's correct answer. So total debt ratios relate to leverage. Ajinese and Sons has debt equity ratio of 60% in 2023. What is the debt if the total equity is 50,000? Can anybody work it out? Total debt is 60% in 2023. What is the debt if the total equity is now 50%? Hello? Okay, go and look at the answers yourself. Look at those questions and work them out. Make sure you get the right answer for them. So at this juncture, I want to thank you for your time. Our time is fast spent. I want to say thank you for your patience, and I wish you best of luck in your exams. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, good night, everyone.
Night, sir.
Good night,
Good
sir.
night, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Yes, God bless you.
Amen.
Bye.
Good night, sir.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I would like to thank everyone who joined this evening's section. Thank you very much and have a wonderful night. Please, last lecture is tomorrow by 1 p.m. Please, let's not forget. Thank you very much. Happy weekend
Thank you,
once
Mr.
again.
Israel.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Israel.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Israel.